I'm Dave Dinkle, and I'm here with a 2-minute tip. Pretty important. It's about cold calling. Cold calling is one of the most onerous things an investor can do. He's afraid. One of the first comments I get sometimes is, well, what about the do not call list? Well, you can scan through and sort out, filter people out that are not on the do not call registry, so that's not a problem. Well, what do I say to them? Well, I suggest if you're going to cold call, which, now listen carefully, cold calling produces the most number of real estate deals above all others combined. All the other things, advertising, marketplace, texting, all of those things take a vastly second place to cold calling. Yeah, but there's banks of rooms. They've got hundreds of people cold calling. These are excuses. If you want to do something else that's more profitable, do it. But don't go back and say that nobody does anything with cold calling. Too many people have made fortunes by picking up the phone and calling, and the more you do it, the better you get. I'll give you a true life example. Guy comes to me, real estate agent, doesn't want to be a broker, and he says, I really want to be an investor. I said, well, what's your story? He said, last year I closed 185 listings. He didn't get 185 listings, he closed them. So if you're saying to yourself 185 deals in a year, one-man shop, he did it. By the way, he did it in 2 simple areas. That's it. 2 probates and expired listings. That's it. You don't need hundreds of niches. And by the way, when I talked to him and said, how many of those were probates? He said about 100 of them were probates and the rest of them were expired listings. I said, you ever heard of pre-probates? And he said, what? I said, that's where the money is. The ironic twist of fate here is I said to him, look, you're not making 5%. No. You're not making 6%. No. 7? No. I said, when all's said and done, what percentage are you netting of the commission in these deals? He said 1%. I said, wait a minute, doesn't everybody net 2.5 or 3 even if you split them? He said, yeah, but I got a big staff that does all this and does all that, and I got my dialers, my Mojo dialers, but I make the presentations. So ultimately I net 1%. And I said to him, gee, are you happy? He said, well, I made this much money. Isn't that a good living? And I said, yeah, it's a good living. But had you taken those 100 deals, what if you had made 10% on them? He said, 10%? I'd be a multimillionaire in a year. And I said, well, yeah, you could have. You didn't understand the process. So I'm not going to get into pre-probates here with you, but I have a probate book which you can look at. And also I have a source for pre-probate leads, especially if you're going to do viral wholesaling in other states. You can sit in your office, in your bedroom, in your house, and work the entire state's probates in any state in the United States by using this service. You'll see it coming up. My point is this. What you need is a script. Before you start cold calling, write down what you want to say. Now, what I've done is because 95% of our deals come from listed properties, not directly with sellers. For you guys who are out there saying, well, there's so much competition on listed properties, I'm going to go directly to sellers. We get 95% of our deals, and there's substantial spreads in them from listed properties. And that's going to be a mind bender for some of you guys who say, it's impossible. It's impossible. I know everything about the marketplace. I mean, Dave's only been in the business 46 years. He's approaching 10,000 closed. What does Dave know? He's an old guy. He's a dinosaur. But yet we close deals every day doing what I'm basically telling you to do. So if you're going to approach a realtor who has a listed deal, there's actually 6 pages of the questions or the answers or the objections and what you need to say. And what you need to do is start approaching them, hear their responses, and get answers so the next time you face them, you have the answers and you can go forward. Now, the same thing with a homeowner. You can watch YouTube videos all day long. It says, here's what you say to the homeowner. Say it, but you're going to do it on a cold call to get in front of them. You have about 8 to 10 seconds to get their attention, and that's it. And some of the things I hear people say is like, gee, it's a great day, isn't it? Or, how's the family? How'd you get through COVID? You want to be on the same professional level as the agent. And what you're interested in is I made an offer on 123 Main Street, checking on the status. First one that speaks loses. Well, your offer was stupidly low. Okay, got an answer for that. Well, what about this one? Got an answer for that. And you need to script out what you're going to say. Because too often times you diverge because the guy says, you have to take my daughter to school. Oh, you have a daughter. I have a daughter. They don't care. You're not building relationships. You're doing deals. You can build relationships anytime you want, but remember the listing agent in all probability has one listing or maybe another one down the road, and it may not be what you want to buy. Make a script, stick to the script, and you'll do very well in cold calling once you get over your fear of doing it. I'm Dave Dinkle. I wish you limitless success.